Hmm.
So, hello and welcome to another episode of Never Signed Up for This. It's a raw and real space for visionary women who are navigating motherhood, entrepreneurship, and the emotional chaos that comes when we care for children with complex needs, when the kids are not okay. Um, yeah, so here we are, Aimee and myself, Daniela. And we'd like to just start the session with taking a deep inhale. All
Mm.
right. So if you want to join us here, taking a deep full inhale all the way to the top, maybe straighten your spine and then let the breath just fall out of your body. That's it. And before we got on today, we were talking about what are we going to talk about? And what we decided is to talk about generational trauma today.
Yeah.
So, do you want to share how we came to this?
I do. Thank you. That's exactly what I was going to do. I saw your post yesterday on LinkedIn that and correct me if I'm wrong, your grandfather was a Nazi.
Mhm.
And you went on and you just said it and wrote it so beautifully that your house, it's for generations now we don't talk about emotions. There's a lot of shame, there's a lot of darkness. And how and we all have generational trauma, all of
Mhm.
us in our
Mhm.
families,
Yeah.
with so much shame around it. I have my own experience. We all can. I think we all can name it. And so yeah, we decided this would be a beautiful thing to talk about, and
Mhm.
how breath work, because both you and I facilitate and do a
Mhm.
lot of breath work, so we're
Yeah.
breathing as well, how it's so incredible to move some of that shame and guilt and darkness that is just stuck in our
Mhm.
genes and our lineage for
Mhm.
ourselves and for our children. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It took me a long time to get to this point, but what I do remember is growing up, and always feeling a sense of guilt and shame, even though I'm not personally responsible for that. Um, I felt responsible for like my people, and I was wondering how could this have happened? And it's very easy to relate to how it can happen, especially through the time that we're living through right now. Um, and so what was really interesting, um, my grandfather died in 2021. And I wasn't able to go to the funeral. Obviously, it was COVID, couldn't leave the country.
Mm,
And so I was zooming in. But
okay.
what I did do, I don't know, sometimes we're just divinely guided, right?
Yeah.
I spent a week with him in 2019.
Mm,
And because I realized that I never really had a connection to my grandparents. Of course, I knew them and they came, but it wasn't kind of this idea of this grandma with her apron and flowers, and she was
like,
baking things, and she was like this big
yeah.
grandmotherly hug and presence where you can
Mm,
confide in. So I did not have that, and so I realized, the my father's side is a whole different story. But I realized, oh, like I don't really have that connection. So I want to create that, and I want to
mm,
spend a week with him. And it was around Mother's Day, and the whole family got together. And then I stayed in Stuttgart. So it's south of Germany, west of
mm,
Germany. And I stayed with him and his girlfriend. And he was like 95, 94.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Ooh,
that's a whole other story there. It's
good gene.
interesting. And because I was so curious, I had so many questions that I never asked. And so we were looking at old photo albums, and I just asked him, like, how come, like, I knew certain things about his history. How come that you were part of this, oh gosh, what is it called? When
Regime?
you're,
Or
no, no, when you are in a school, like, what was Hogwarts? It was like but you lived there. Oh my gosh,
like a
I'm forgetting.
private school? A private school or
Well,
a
it's like where you stay, like you're not going home in the
boarding
evenings,
school?
boarding school. So
Yes. Okay.
I knew that he was in a boarding school that was
Mm.
where they groomed or prepared the young boys to become leaders once the final victory had been achieved. And so he was part of this boarding school, and there were boys from all over the world. So he was fluent in Dutch because
Oh,
I
wow.
learned his dad, who fought in World War One, was part of a tight, like they were making tights, and he set up a factory in Holland, and so he was fluent in
Wow.
Dutch. And so he was with a whole bunch of boys who were coming from all over the world, Argentina, Italy, everywhere. And they were prepared to be the leaders
Wow.
in those countries. And and I mean, until he died, he said he didn't know what was happening. And I believe him because it was a different media environment, and
Mm.
it
Yeah,
was
let's
very different. Um, but so here, just this setup, that I was like, I was almost 50 years when I went and I had, started doing my work, and I reached out and said, I want to know a little bit more. Like, what happened? Like, there are so many holes in the
hmm
story that I wanted to fill. I wanted to
Mm.
understand what actually happened. And I just want to listen and learn. And and so that was really interesting. But what is true is that throughout, so uh, the type of trauma of guilt and shame is very low vibrational, right? So it's at the
Yeah.
bottom of the totem pole. And
Yep.
then I observe myself talk about this. So in front of the principal, Leona's principal at that time, when we had to figure out like the path forward for her. And I just said guilt and shame. I feel so guilty. I feel so much shame around what had happened. And
Mm.
I think as mothers, we have this anyway. They say, there's a saying that, as parents, we screw them up anyway. Like whatever we
Oh,
do,
yeah.
we
I think it's kind of true.
part of the game here.
It's part of the game. There's no playbook. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, we definitely carry the guilt for sure. And I think guilt and shame go hand in hand.
Hmm.
Brene Brown she's the
Hmm.
researcher on on
Yes.
shame, right? Now,
Yeah.
I used to listen to her quite a bit and read the books. It's been a while, so I don't want to misquote anything, but
Hmm.
I believe shame is the way she describes it is some sort of biological response too, where we are so that we don't ever do that again, sort of thing,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But it's the darkest, heaviest. It's like a cloak. It is the ugh, it is the one that can just eat you. And then when you bring it to the light
Hmm.
and talk about it, let's say, or not hold it as such a dark shadow, then it can dissipate. It can soften.
Right.
Yeah, which is what we
Yeah.
need to do, which is exactly why we're talking about all this.
Yeah.
But Daniela, we all have so much generational trauma. All of us. All of us.
Yes. Yes.
Like I could just name. mine and my grandparents, both sides are passed, and I did not, I could relate to what you said because I didn't have closeness with them. We lived in different cities or different
Mhm.
states. Um, there was one I was most close to, and that was my mom's mom. But these were both from Eastern European countries.
Mhm.
So their heritage
Mhm.
was all Polish on my mom's side and all
Mhm.
Czechoslovakian on my dad's.
Mhm.
So other countries too, where there's a lot of hardship. There's a lot of, you think of like iron, you think of like stoic. Strength is not showing emotions, not talking about
Totally.
emotions, pushing through. Um, that is, both were Catholic, so we have that whole
Mhm.
guilt and shame that the church
Mhm.
itself just
Mhm.
pounds into you.
Mhm.
God, I am not worthy. God, I am not worthy. Just I
Mhm.
remember saying
Mhm.
in church every week. And
Mhm.
um, but we had abandonment, neglect, abuse, alcoholism. Oh my goodness, mental health. I mean, all of those things. Not to mention so many things I probably am not aware of, right? But
Mhm.
we had that on both sides. And how do you feel like to bring it to as moms
Mhm.
and to bring it into like what we're carrying? Because this goes on, we can be cycle breakers. We can choose
Mhm.
to,
Mhm.
right? Which I think you and
Mhm.
I are.
Mhm.
But there's still that guilt and shame of fuck, like this is our history. This is our lineage. This is in our genes. And
Mhm.
now I've passed this on to my child. Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
what I believe is that if we break the cycle, I mean, that's spiritual teachings, and I choose to believe in that, that we
Yeah.
break the chain for the generations to come, obviously, right? Generations to come, but also we untie and free the generations that are behind us.
I believe that too. Yeah.
Um, Yeah, so in a sense, to me, it's become like the most powerful and the most important work. Is that internal work, and over time, I developed this what I call the beacon method, and
Tell us
O
more.
in this stands for openness. Openness means curiosity. Usually, what happens when we are in shame or guilt, we will close down. And when we close down,
Mm,
nothing comes in, right? If we
yeah.
get like this, there's no new information, nothing can come in. It just you stay stuck. But
Mm,
if you turn towards openness, then there is yes, that happened, and it doesn't have to continue this way. Yes, and I can change it. Yes, and I can be curious about what else can happen. And so this openness means also sharing. Like I am being open that there is a different meaning we can make,
yes.
and new information can come in. So is openness.
That is
And
so
that's what I
good.
did with sharing, like being open about these things, because that breaks that cycle. Because
Yeah.
then, you know, here's one thing that I've heard a lot growing up, that we don't air our, how I can
Dirty
say it,
laundry.
dirty laundry. Like,
Uh,
yeah, we don't air our dirty laundry outside, right? Yeah.
uh-huh. That's that secretive, like it stays in the
Yes.
house because of the shame
Yes.
and the guilt.
Yeah, and
What
you
would
don't want to
people
feel
think?
it. It feels icky. You don't
Feels
want to
icky.
feel it. And then you just move on and you push on. And what happens, oh my gosh, we can go into so many ways, but what happens
Mm.
is that we just get super busy to distract ourselves from the negative feelings, and we're creating something, it's good because we're creating either really beautiful things in the world to
Yeah, we
compensate,
are.
or we are so in the protective mechanism that we just pass it on, just it snowballs on and just keeps growing.
Okay.
um
Oh, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Two things. One, okay, so as moms or as women entrepreneurs, visionaries, and we have a lot on our plate, right?
Mhm.
And also, we have this opportunity. We have this wisdom, we have this power to do all these things. Like we want the best for our kids, to do this work.
Mhm.
How do we freaking squeeze it all in? Like you're saying, we're so busy. We are so busy. How do we do this work daily? Like what are the methods you use even daily or weekly
Mhm.
with these hard feelings? Is it the beacon method or what's
Um,
your take? And
yeah. So there's definitely the beacon stands for B breath being one of the key or the key mechanisms for epigenetic change.
yeah.
Um, the E is understanding. I mean, I'll just zip through this. E
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that we are an energetic body, that we see ourselves as an energy body, and not just this meat suit, like
Hmm.
wrapped in skin, walking around with some organs in there. But that we're more than that. The A is alignment, attunement. The C is clarity of signal and coherence.
Mm-hmm.
The O is openness, and the N is that it's a nervous system. It's all about nervous
Mm-hmm.
system regulation and yeah, how to be able to switch ourselves on. So that go in.
Yeah.
Um, so I meditate. Of course, I do
Yeah.
breath work. I guide
Yeah.
breath work daily,
Yeah.
and that helps me also. Um, it's taken me years to get to this point where I don't just grab my phone and numb myself if I feel uncomfortable, just to
Mhm.
distract. Um, is where I got to this point, just okay, where I have a voice in my head saying, sit your butt down. Literally.
What else? What else is there?
Sit
Yeah.
your butt down and don't distract. Just deal with it now and just sit
Yeah.
with it. And that's helped
Yeah.
immensely.
Amen. Well, this is a practice. We talk about this. I think there are no quick fixes. This is
Mhm.
a lifetime choice that to
Mhm.
me starts with just the awareness. Like get to understand your history if you can, if you're not
Mhm.
adopted. You know what I'm saying? But even there's the environmental
Even
factor
then.
of like what home did I grow up in? Like what, because I think there's so much, not just on the outside world, what's happening in our world today, which is rattling our nervous system, but we are carrying this in our genes and DNA. And I absolutely 100% do believe we can break these cycles,
Mhm.
right? But it does take some sort of consciousness, I
Mhm.
believe,
Right,
to
right.
face it, to bring it to the light, to choose consciously, no, choosing more love, choosing more light, choosing more softening. I mean, we didn't have control of what happened. That's a hard one for me though. Like I still feel responsible somehow,
Mhm.
but we don't have control over how our parents were raised or their parents were raised or but somehow I still hold that responsibility as a mother for what I've brought in to my child's life. And I know that I still carry, and I'm recognizing more and more, but traits like the negative traits of come out. They still come out here and there, where I'm like, that's not mine. I know I heard this tone from my mom, or I heard those words from myself repeating it.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's a practice. Just being gentle, right? Being gentle with ourselves with this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're human, right? And I've lost
Yeah.
it so many times on my daughter. And then I'm
Yeah.
saying, I'm sorry, that wasn't right. Not that it makes it right, but that I am taking responsibility. But when you notice that, that you are reacting in
Mm.
a way that has been programmed into you, or where you see or hear your mother speak through you in the same way to your
Yeah.
daughter that you've been spoken to. When you notice that, like, how does that feel?
Shame, guilt, dark.
Mhm.
It
And
does.
yeah. And where,
Like,
like,
where?
where do you feel it?
Yeah, I feel it a lot, right? In the core, the heart, almost like stakes, like, oof, oof.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You bring up a really good point, though, Daniela, about, and I learned this in marriage counseling
Mm-hmm.
years ago, repair. Like, when we can recognize it's happening, the repair part is one of the most
Right.
powerful things as humans and
Mm-hmm.
to teach our kids. So, in that sense, all of us, if we are repairing the past, which again, there's plenty of wrong in
Mm-hmm.
all of our past. And again, we're human. All of us are right. This is part of being human. But how do we repair? How do we, it might be those little micro moments with our children of saying, I'm sorry, this isn't how I want to be, or how I wanted to say
Mm-hmm.
that. I think there's so
Mm-hmm.
much power in that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just
It's
softens,
yeah.
as I was saying, like the stakes, it softens
Uh-huh.
it.
Yeah. And in the way that it's like when you are then with those parts that are lodged in your body, right? And it
Yeah.
just feels so dense and
Yeah.
heavy. Um, and this is where I found breath work and just being or breathing into those areas, breathing life into these areas. I know this sounds kind of crazy for anybody out there who's like, what are these people talking about? How can I change my life if I'm, not doing stuff out there to correct or to, to make meaning or bring
Right.
value, like
Right.
prove my worthiness, prove my value on the outside to society. Um, what does that do? Like that's funny, right? Like what
Yeah.
how will the world change if I sit my butt down and just be in the discomfort of those parts that are making me feel shitty?
Yeah. Talk
But
about it. Yes, preach.
but that's the
Yes.
key. That
Yeah.
is the key. It's
Yeah.
always like as within, so without, as within, so without. And you can do so much stuff on the outside. It's not gonna change how you feel on the inside. But once you
Mm.
address what it feels on the inside, oof, then the
It changes
outside
everything.
shifts. Yes,
It
it totally does.
truly, truly does. And this is my experience as well. And when I had reached that point of hitting rock bottom several years ago after doing the therapy, doing the
Mhm.
EMDR, doing yoga, taking care of myself,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. Um, and still having all sorts of chronic health issues that developed in my body, and me getting to a place of fuck this, I do not want to do this anymore. It was breath work.
Mhm.
It was breath work which I had never even done, never even really
Mhm.
heard of. I think my
Mhm.
therapist had mentioned it and had taken me through a couple practices, but
Mhm.
they weren't like what you and I do
Mhm.
anymore.
I know, I
But
know.
it's truly that powerful. I mean, in any spiritual and any religion, even the breath is God, the breath is life, the breath is fundamental.
Well, in
It
Italian, it's inspirare, in spirit, inhale the spirit. So
inhale the spirit.
it's
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 truly,
true. Hmm.
it's truly, I mean, you can have religious experiences, you can shift your state. It's, but I think fundamentally too, as we're talking about this, it's so, so important, not just when you're feeling okay, but it's even more important when you're feeling crunchy and when you're
Hmm.
feeling tight. Because I
Yeah.
believe what I did, no shame, but I'm gonna say it, but I believe what I did for my whole life was suppress the feelings,
Hmm.
suppress the feelings, suppress the feelings. I
Hmm.
was in a house again, we don't talk about feelings. You're crying, go to your room. Like
Hmm.
expressing feelings,
Hmm.
shut down, go to your room, shut the door.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Not acceptable, not welcome.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's what I learned, and that's
Some
okay.
weakness. Hmm.
That's okay. That's my journey. And it's so easy for all of us, we are dealing with such overwhelm, such stress, such shame, even about what's going on in the world. We're carrying this, right? I can't do anything about it, but it's such a, that's what you're thinking. You're reading the news, but this is awful or whatever. And you're just carrying this and you're shoving it down with
Mhm.
food or media or whatever distracts you, work.
Mhm.
Um, it's those moments that are so critical, Daniela, like, and to bring the breath to it. The breath is, again, it's like talking about shame. And if we just bring it to the light and if we
Mhm.
just shine some light on it, it softens. So for any of these negative things, if you just bring some breath, meaning some light, some attention,
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
softens. Don't you
Yeah.
think?
That's what I've experienced or learned. It's not just learned, like embodied over time. It,
Yeah.
it it takes a bit, it does. But what you just said is it's really vital because once we name something,
Mm.
we can once we name something, we shine some light on it. That's when we can change it. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with when you're running around not having a diagnosis because you can't name what it is. You just know something's wrong. And everything that you do is just running around, finding a solution to something that you can't name. But once you can name it, and once it resonates with you, like that's the other thing. Yes, named, and you are like, that's it. That's it. Then you can change and shift, then you can address it. And that's very, very important. And then the other thing
Yeah.
um, that is um, different in women, mothers, than in men. And that's what I've learned through Dr. Claire Zamed, one of my mentors. Women make shame-based meaning.
Ooh.
So, as
Ooh.
opposed to boys and men who
Oof.
don't. So, what does that look like? If something goes wrong, a boy and a man will say, oh, I did something wrong. Let me correct it and move on. Whereas women, we make shame-based meaning. Something goes wrong, and we make that mean I'm wrong. It
I'm
is my
wrong.
fault. I am not cut out for this. I'm not
Oh,
supposed to be doing this. There's something wrong with me that this has happened.
right.
And so that stunts our growth, that stunts our possibilities and potentiality in whatever area of life you want to apply that to, whether that's love and intimacy, whether that
Mhm.
is career, whether that is motherhood, right? So if you make
Yep.
shame-based eating, it whoop, the lid is on. That's your glass ceiling.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yep. Oh, I can. You're speaking the truth because this is my life. This is, and I can recognize this now. And I do deal with quite a few chronic health issues and different diseases that have come up through the years, and I can pretty much know in my heart now that this is why. This is exactly what you said. I have made I am wrong as my motto for anything in my life that's happened. So
Mhm.
all these things I've never signed up for. It's like in pregnancy, I made it all about my body failed, even though my body carried this child to
Mhm.
24 weeks and she's now 18. I made it my body failed forever. Forever, Daniela.
Mhm.
And you wonder why. Then I have endometriosis and I have ovarian cysts and all these things. Yeah, that's really interesting. That is exactly what I've lived my whole life. I recognize this even day to day. An argument with my husband, it's like, I'm wrong. I did something wrong. I created this.
Something in me is wrong.
Something in me is wrong.
In me is wrong. Not I've done something wrong or I was thinking
Uh,
something wrong. You would make it mean that something with
inside.
us inside is wrong. And
Oh,
As moms, right? As moms, we have this because we always screw them up, right? No matter what we do, like that's almost our task, right?
yeah.
Or it's just like a law of being or mothering in general, is that okay, there's something, I think it gets to the core of women and this shame-based meaning making. My
Mm,
child's not okay. Something I did or something about me
yep.
is wrong. And whether this is I'm too much, I'm not enough, um,
Well,
I'm too loud, I'm wrong, I'm wrong, I'm not good
even the
enough.
generational stuff that we're talking about, like that's, I think about that all the time. Like that's, I'm wrong. I came from this, which is wrong. Like it's in our lineage, and
Mhm.
therefore, yeah. Oh,
So,
but that's
so
the whole point of these
this
channels
conversation,
too.
that's what it is. That's what we're
Let's,
talking, why
we're
we're
gonna
talking
talk about
about this
it.
stuff. That is why, because we can change that. Like that, we
Yeah.
have the capacity and capability to change that narrative because that's all it is. It's a
Yes.
narrative.
It's a story, and the stories are not
Mhm,
truth.
mhm,
Like we
mhm,
just create these stories, and we probably do that for some protective mechanism. If we think about it, it's
mhm,
probably there for a good biological reason. That's what our
mhm.
brains do to keep us safe, but it's hurting us more than harming
Right,
us. I think too,
right.
this is why women have, I mean, autoimmune diseases. It's like
It's greater in women, and
mostly
it,
women. I think it's like 90% women or something
well,
crazy like
no
that.
wonder if we are internalized. I'm just putting
Yeah,
this together while we
yeah.
talk because we're internalizing things more so than men. I'm not saying that men don't have those feelings, they do, but I think on a systemic overall um, lens, it is the truth. We are internalizing
Totally.
and men externalize. I mean, it's why we have all of these buildings. You know, I'm not saying that they're not women architects. That's not what I'm saying, but it is just something that over the last century is just what has happened.
Totally. Totally. Oh my goodness. We're touching on some
Yeah,
big stuff. But again,
right,
this is the
right.
whole point of this channel is to, and these conversations is to bring it out, to talk about it, to
Mhm,
shine light on it. How many of us are suffering silently,
mhm, mhm.
suffering in shame and guilt? And I bet you there's very few women moms that are not in some way if we don't
Mhm,
have these tools
mhm,
and mentors and experiences and friends to
mhm.
bring it to light.
Right. And here's another thing, though, I feel with friends, maybe there are these, these unique good friends, but oftentimes in I have just noticed that, and maybe that's just with me,
Mhm.
oftentimes with friendships, it's also in a way conditional, if that makes any sense. So if you're working with,
Yeah,
I don't know, when you work with a mentor or a guide, there is yeah, there is no condition, I guess, is the best way. There is non-judgment zone. I guess that's what it is. It's a no judgment zone.
correct. There's
Um,
like boundaries to it. There's, in a
yes,
sense.
yes. And so also because one of those things that we've grown up with is that emotions or not being okay or not knowing the path is a weakness.
Yep,
And even in friendships, we still want to portray that we've got our stuff together and that things don't
totally.
phase us. And so um, oftentimes we just mask that, or we're not allowing ourselves to be seen in the muck.
1,000%.
Mm,
And you're very right about this. I've also noticed when I have shared, when I am in the muck or in crisis,
mhm,
um, and I say crisis, like there's different levels of that, but that
Right.
can go on for years.
Mhm.
I find, and I'm not going to blame the others entirely, but I
Mhm.
find withdrawal
Mhm.
either, I think from both of us, it's as if, but I internalize that as I'm too much.
Mhm. Mhm.
There we
Mhm.
go again.
Mhm.
I'm too much. Their life is good. I shouldn't be putting this on them.
Right.
They don't
Yeah.
understand, and that's nor should they. But
Yeah.
it does get a little messy. Like we all need to have that good friend that you can go to and be like, I'm hurting.
Yeah. Yeah. Or that community where it
Or
is
community.
okay, which is kind of what we're
Yeah,
trying to create here, where it's okay.
exactly.
And I think that's the
Exactly.
best way to model, like when we are in the muck, that we don't shy away from expressing it. And then the other thing that I wanted to
Mhm.
say is, oh gosh, my thoughts are boom, 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 like typical woman's brain, right? You open it up and there's like 5 million thoughts at the
Let's just
same
also name it.
time.
The first thing we said to each other was like, I have a headache. And I was like, I have a really bad headache too. Like that was you and I this morning, Daniela. So
Exactly.
naming it,
Oh,
we're
me.
we're just
Yeah.
we're in our own little mucks. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Um, where are we? Well,
Community.
it's community, building community where we can be true to ourselves and speaking what's happening, but also our channel. Yeah, we are saying it's never signed up for this. Both you and I, we know that we on some level
Mhm.
have.
Yeah.
And that is flipping the script of the narrative,
Yeah.
getting out of the victim mentality
Yeah.
to into the driver's seat. So what if what I'm feeling, what I'm going through right now prepares me for what's next, as long as I deal, as long as I address
Hmm.
the energies that are, you know, keeping me in the loop, keeping me in the
Absolutely.
cycle. And I want to share, like, if I
Yeah.
can, if I
Yeah.
may, I
Yeah.
want to share something that blew my mind,
Do it.
blew my body open. It was very interesting. It's about a year ago during a breathwork segment in that particular meditation. And I had learned over the years that shame, guilt, all of these survival instincts or survival emotions,
Mhm.
they are stored in the lower centers, right? They are stored in the lower centers of the body. Um, and yeah, through breath work, we're tilling the soil, we're opening things up, and emotions can come out. So I understood that. And I felt that too.
Mhm.
But in that particular breath segment, it is one where you pull from the root everything up into the
Uh-huh.
brain. And I sat there, and it was, the first meditation in that 7 day program.
Mhm.
And I pulled up, and something dislodged. It was like an acidic, it's weird. It was an acidic energy that came out of my root, and it gave me heartburn. It was crazy. And then it got me stuck here. And then it felt like I'm about to pass out. You know, when you
Yeah. Yeah.
when you
That
pass out, and
powerful.
then like the sound starts to be muffled, and voices feel like they're coming from way far away. So it was that, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm about to pass out here. I'm not I'm sitting here, I'm not gonna pass out. No, 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 not today, not now. I'm not gonna pass out. And then it went out, and I felt so
Wow.
light after. So if I
Wow.
ever had any doubt
Doubt.
that energies are stuck in the lower centers, like when that thing came up, like ugh. And it was interesting because there were several other people who had that throughout those 7 days or 6 days as well. They had the same
Similar.
experience, similar experience. Yes.
Mm.
Three of them were women who I know had
Mm-hmm.
sexual trauma in
Mm-hmm.
and abuse in the past, including myself.
Mm-hmm.
And there was
Wow.
a man also, and he was on stage talking about it. So that one was it's like, oh, it's like that
Wow.
happened there. And I know for everyone that I spoke to, they never had that experience before. So
Holy moly.
holy moly, right?
Oh, I need that as well. Let's just name two that, I
Mhm.
mean, one in, I believe the statistics is 1 in 4 girls even are sexually assaulted. And that's only what we know. That's only what's reported.
Yeah.
So, so prevalent. I also sexual assault, sexual abuse. Um,
Did you report it?
no.
I didn't
Oh,
either.
no. No.
I would
But I
say
was
it's
like, oh,
probably
that was my fault.
99%. I would say 99%. Yeah, of course.
This
Of
is
course.
extremely prevalent, extremely, and the guilt and the shame. And we do store it when I work with women, and I notice in myself too. But again, you're talking about the lower energy centers, like the root, the sacral, the womb.
Hmm.
So much trauma there. So this is really powerful. And I have to add this because this happened
Hmm.
this week. For anyone that's skeptical, I met with a new neurologist this week. I
Hmm.
deal with migraines. We'll
Hmm.
talk about that sometime, but talk about the energy behind that. And it started during COVID. So
Mm.
we know the
Mm.
stress. Um, she's got a different approach. This is an MD, but so much around diet, so much around blood sugar, so much around energy and stress and toxicity and getting the toxicity out of
Mhm.
your life. There is a bridge. We talked about, I was telling her I worked with a mind body doctor who, again,
Mhm.
MD, he's an old school guy. He's in his maybe even approaching 70. He used to only prescribe pain meds to patients for years.
Mhm.
And now, and something switched in him that was like, this is only putting a band-aid on it.
Mhm.
And so it's all pain is a brain thing. It is a brain
Mhm.
thing. It
Mhm.
is from the brain. We have to break the cycles in the brain. So
Mhm.
they all know this. These are MDs. My insurance
Mhm.
covers this. They
Mhm.
know this and they are recognizing more and more and more and more
That's
how
amazing.
important energy work is and our
Mhm.
thoughts. And so we're gonna like this is teetering on, I do believe in the next 10, 20 years, hopefully sooner, but it could be sooner the way things are going so fast. But this
Mhm.
is going to be, we're going to see more and more of this. We
Mhm.
do understand we are more than physical bodies. The
Mhm.
trauma, the energy, the thoughts that we tell ourselves, the stories we tell ourselves, we
Mhm.
carry in ourselves, and they manifest as dis-ease. And I say dis-ease because it can be all
Mhm.
sorts of conditions. It doesn't have to be,
Right.
you
I
know.
agree. I
So
agree.
this, whatever woo woo, whatever we want, when people are scared or uncertain about it, there is science behind this, Daniela, and you know it too. And I think the more we bring it into this conversation as well, you
Mhm.
know. But
Yeah.
talk about, I want you to share because you have a huge, amazing offer
Yes.
next week. And this is something where
Yeah.
people could come in and try this if they're not,
Mhm.
share about what you've going on.
Yeah, so next week I have the 5-day breathwork reset. And basically what it is, like I wanted to offer something at the end of summer. It's a huge time of transitions. And it's also not just from the summer into the fall, but it's also from the bit more unstructured to a bit to the structured approach
Yeah.
that we all do here in society. Um, and so what it is, it's anchored in the beacon method. So I'll go deep into the beacon
Mm,
method. But it's a 5-day breath work that also goes behind the science of why it works. And so there is, for me, my entry into all of this world was the science. The
love
science,
it.
so my brain, my analytical mind, that up until that time prevented me from being able to meditate because my it's like a ceiling
Mm-hmm.
fan goes on like a monkey brain. But when my brain understood why I was doing or why
Mm-hmm.
meditation and what would happen, and when it understood all that, felt like, okay, let's go for it. And so that's what I'm bringing as well. So you'll be seeing things, you'll be hearing things that may be completely new to you. Maybe it is just a confirmation of what you've already known, or you just brings there's new aspects to yeah a worldview or model of understanding that you have not had yet. So it's like
Wow.
25 minutes of teaching. And then there's a 30-minute breathwork session where you can just apply directly all the things that you've learned. And so in those 5 days with the reset, really my intention is for people to understand themselves from a different lens.
Oh, I love this. I love this. And you're going to put the
You'll be
link,
there.
and I'm going to be there as much as
Yes.
I can. I've got a couple. So
Mhm.
that's another thing. If people can't make it all 5 days, there's
Mhm.
replays,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
there's replays.
that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah. So all the recordings
Yep.
and the breath work will be available, including the presentation sheets, so can have all that.
What an awesome offer and
Yes.
value. Whew.
Yeah,
Love
it's
this.
good. I'm very excited.
I mean, this is
Yeah.
part of your my missions too, is just to
Mhm.
spread this. This is a tool for me, breath work. It's like we always have access to our breath.
Mhm.
Always.
Mhm.
It has no side effects. It's not a drug, but it is as powerful as a drug.
Mhm.
But you're not taking a pill with all these side
Mhm.
effects. It's empowering us to understand how we can shift our nervous system with our breath. Like
Mhm.
it's such
Mhm.
an amazing tool.
Yeah,
It really, really, really is.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, I'm so excited about this. Yay.
All right.
Whew,
Well,
did it.
yeah, we did it. You did it.
You did
You
it
all did
too.
it. Exactly, exactly. And yeah, excited to see you all next week and
Yeah.
having a conversation again next week.
And let
Right.
us know if there's topics. Yeah. If anyone put in
Yeah.
the chat, like if there's, or reach out to us if there's topics you want us to cover. We have a
Mhm.
huge list and more keep coming every week. But yeah, let's just keep the conversations going.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. All right. Yes, do. Okay. So much love, everyone. Oh, here. So, okay.